Warning: the following content contains coarse language and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh my god, it's Kenny Hotz! Holy shit! Aaron Prolla here, aka The Film Freak, and I thought I'd take the time to tell you guys about my experience meeting Kenny Hotz and Spencer Rice. Yes, the Kenny and Spenny from Kenny vs. Spenny. I've been a huge fan of Kenny vs. Spenny since I was 15, and though the show's been off the air for about a decade, I still watch it on DVD and sometimes here on YouTube. I always wanted to meet Kenny Hotz and Spencer Rice, and I first attempted to in 2009. I dropped by their house when they were filming an episode for the show, but I couldn't get anywhere near them as I got chased away by this guy. But eventually I would have a proper opportunity, and that was when Kenny and Spenny both appeared at Fan Expo Toronto a few years ago. They didn't appear together, but here's how it went down. I met Kenny first, and you know what? It was really cool, but super awkward. I didn't know he was appearing at Fan Expo to begin with, so it was a huge surprise seeing him there. But he was there to promote a graphic novel he wrote and was starring in. So I'm walking around Artist Alley, where all the comic book artists are set up and such, and I'm on my way with my dad to see my buddy Ken Wheaton, who we see every year. And on our way to Ken's table, my dad spots a guy who looked like Kenny Hotz. When it was in fact Kenny, he nudges me and he goes, Aaron, look who it is!" So I looked over, and I couldn't believe it. It was Kenny Hotz, in the flesh, sitting with his illustrator. And in my mind, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Kenny Hotz! Holy shit!" So I ran over to his table and I introduced myself. Like I said, it was super awkward, because after I said hello, I went and told Kenny, "I'm a huge fan of your show." Now you're probably asking yourself, well, what's wrong with that? Well, because it was. What I should have said was, "I'm a huge fan of Kenny vs. Spenny." Instead, I just blurted out, "I'm a huge fan of your show." Because if you know me personally, I like to be specific, and if you follow Kenny Hotz, you will know that Kenny vs. Spenny is not his only television show. Kenny had two other shows, Testes and Triumph of the Will, so me saying what I did, I ended up confusing him because he didn't know which show I was a huge fan of. But he thanked me very much for the kind words, and as I was trying to think of what else to tell him because I had a million and one things I wanted to say, I couldn't think of anything. Instead, I came off as a stuttering, starstruck idiot. I then noticed Kenny had some pictures he was autographing for fans, so when I finally got my shit straight, I just asked for his autograph. There were quite a few pictures to choose from, so I went with this promotional Kenny vs. Spenny photo of him and Spenny arm wrestling. Kenny then asked me if I wanted a personalized message and who he was making it out to, so I said sure, and make it out to me. And as he was getting ready to sign it, he asked me for my name. When I told him it was Aaron and even spelt it out for him, I will never forget this. He looked at me and he said, "Cool, that's my brother's name." Which is true. So if I can get you all to direct your attention to this now. Kenny's message to me reads, "Aaron, Spenny is a tard." He then scribbled on a Hitler mustache on Spenny, and then signed it Hotz. When I got home that afternoon, I took a photo of this and I posted it to my Twitter page. Kenny then saw it, retweeted it, and like 10,000 of his followers saw it, and were all leaving comments like, "Oh, you're so lucky, Kenny vs. Spenny rocks," and some were even sharing photos with me of their encounters with Kenny that day and their autographs. I met Spenny a year later, and his encounter was just as awkward. He too was there to promote a graphic novel he wrote and was appearing in, but unlike Kenny, I had to wait for a specific time to meet him, so I stuck around and spoke to Spenny's illustrator for a bit. I forget the dude's name, but he was a pretty cool guy, wickedly talented too. When Spenny finally showed up, I went back to his table, and it was fucking packed. I'd never seen so many fans, and he was trying his best to acknowledge every one of them. Basically, to talk to Spenny, you had to put a word in edgewise, so when the time was right, I got in there and I introduced myself. I took what I learned from my encounter with Kenny and told Spenny what a huge Kenny vs. Spenny fan I was, rather than just saying, "I'm a huge fan of your show again." I then went and told them what my favorite competition from the show was, what my favorite humiliation was, and basically told them everything that I wanted to tell Kenny. Spenny also really listened to what I had to say and even asked questions, and we were having a really good conversation. But then I did something that would fuck everything up. Something to this day I still beat myself up over. I started talking about Kenny. My memory of meeting Kenny came to mind, and while I was talking to Spenny, I thought, I should tell Spenny about meeting Kenny here. Huge mistake. Spenny, hands down, does not like Kenny. Okay, it is not an act, and he hates hearing fans obsess about Kenny. While I was waiting for my chance to talk, Spenny was being asked all kinds of Kenny questions, and to shut up one fan who kept going on and on about Kenny, Spenny just looked at him and said, "Kenny's a son of a bitch." Thinking back, that's probably why Spenny was so engaged in our conversation, because nothing we were really talking about was all about Kenny. But then when I changed the subject and started talking about him, Spenny had this look on his face, then focused his attention on other fans. A bit of a dick move, but you know what? I totally get it. I understand why Spenny blew me off, and I hold nothing against him. Kenny put him through all kinds of shit throughout the course of the series, and if I had to constantly hear about people I hated, I wouldn't want to talk about them either, nor to whoever is obsessing about them. I didn't want my time with Spenny to end so suddenly, so while I had to wait and talk to him again, I saw he too had pictures he was autographing for fans. Unfortunately, he had the same photos as Kenny, so I went with that one of them arm wrestling again. In my opinion, it was the only one that was worth getting. I knew if I asked Spenny for his autograph, he would have to make time for me again, and thank God that he did. He too asked me if I want a personalized message and if he was making it out to someone, so like with Kenny, I said sure, and make it out to me, Aaron. So Spenny's message to me reads, "To Aaron, losing is the new winning." And then he signed it. I really wanted to let my Twitter followers know that I met Spenny as well. So when I got home that afternoon, I took a photo of this and I posted it to my page. Spenny unfortunately never saw it or retweeted it, so I didn't get as much feedback on it. But those who did see it were very happy for me. It's not every day you get to meet your idols, but if I were to meet Kenny and Spenny again, I wouldn't present myself the way I did. But had I not met them, I wouldn't have these or this cool story to tell, and I'm very happy that I do. Anyway, I hope you all found it interesting. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're digging my new content. Every bit of support helps. And follow me on Instagram at FilmFreakProd for all the latest posts and updates. Thank you so much again for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.